Now, the paradigm, it's a mental program that has almost exclusive control over your habitual behavior, and almost all of your behavior is habitual. So look here for a moment. This is really important that we get this straight. School gave us valuable knowledge. However, school never taught us how to alter our paradigms. Now think about this. Therefore, we frequently do not do what we already know how to do. See, it's not that we don't know how to do stuff, it's that we don't do what we already know how to do. Now look here for a moment. We have superior knowledge, inferior results. That causes confusion and frustration. We know a lot better. Why do we get such terrible results? Well, let's take a look over here. We'll put the model back up again. School piled all kinds of information into our consciousness. However, the results don't match all that information. See, the results are not good, and yet the person knows a lot. It isn't the knowledge that produces the results. The paradigm produces the results. And if a person is going to change results, they have to gain an understanding of how to change the paradigm. Now, that's part of what we're going to talk about this week. Because if you don't change your paradigm, you're not going to change your results. You see, if you want to earn more of this, you've got to change what's going on in your subconscious mind. Otherwise, you're not going to do it. You just won't do it. Now, I'm really good at earning this stuff. I'm very good at it. I've been studying this for a long time. And if you want to change your results, you've got to change that paradigm. It's essential. And most people don't know that. Now, let's take a look at what your paradigm controls. It's very important you really study this. Your paradigm controls your perception. You go back to Dad's money again, that was one of the P's. Remember we said Dad's money pump? Well, that was one of the P's, is perception. When you change your perception, everything begins to change. Everything. You change the way you look at something, what you look at is going to change. Perception controls all kinds of things. Most people never really stop and think that. When you start to change your perception of this, you see what you're looking at here is paper, it's money. That is 3 $100 bills, okay? It's paper. This is not money. This represents money. This is an instrument that represents money. Money is an idea. It's an idea. It's a medium of exchange that we trade for other people's products or services. And if we want more money, we can earn it. It is not that hard. The earning of money is it's governed by an absolute law. Think this whole universe operates by law. Winter never follows winter. If I drop this, it's going to go down. It cannot go up. That's an absolute law. The night always follows the day. That's a law. The laws of the universe are precise. We talk a lot about the laws of the universe here at the Proctor Gallagher Institute. Your perception of a situation controls what's going on inside. Your perception of this and how to get this, how to earn this, and earn it in abundance has to change if you really want to earn more money. Perception. Your paradigm controls your use of time. Do you know that everybody gets exactly the same amount of time? We get all there is. So it's what we do with our time that really makes a difference. Now think of that. I'll give you, let's shift our perception on time. Let's suppose that you studied this for 1 hour a day. Just 1 hour. You got 24 of them. Just 1 hour. The man that gave me the book suggested that. He said, do you know that that is 9 40-hour weeks in a year? Study how to earn money for 1 hour a day. That's 9 40-hour weeks of concentrated study a year. 9 40-hour weeks. If we learn how to utilize our time, time cannot be managed. It cannot, only activities can be managed. Time cannot be managed, but it can be wasted. Creativity. Do you know that when I left public school, my school teacher, Miss Strawn, God bless her, she'd be long gone now, but she said to me, Bob, where are you going? And I said, I'm going to Melbourne Collegiate. Oh, Bob, don't go there. Go to Danforth Tech, Bob, and get a trade. You'll never do well in business. So what I know, I mean, this is Miss Strawn, she's like God. So off I go, Danforth Tech. I was only there a month. I shoved my thumb into a bandsaw, cut the end of it off. They had to sew it back on. Do you know, whenever it's cold, that thumb hurts still. 80 years later, it still hurts. I am extremely creative, very creative. But for years, I didn't know that. Do you know that you're creative? You are very creative. I don't know if you're developing your creativity or utilizing it. You are God's highest form of creation. Your effectiveness, you know, your mind controls your effectiveness. And your effectiveness controls your productivity. You can become much more effective at everything you do if you make up your mind to do it. I am forever thinking, how can we do it bigger? How can we do it better? How can we do it faster? Because the way is here. Just stop and think of these things. My goodness, it was just somebody's thinking. It was an idea. And look at it today. I can just press a button. It'll cause a number to ring on the other side of the world. And the two of us can sit here looking at each other, carrying on conversation. That was an idea in somebody's mind. They were very creative and very effective. And therefore, they produced this beautiful phone. You see, when I was about 15, we didn't have a phone. That was when I got a phone, when we were 15. And the phone was one of those great big things that you hold, you know. And it was a party line. God knows how many other people, there must have been 50 other people, homes on that party line. Why didn't we have one? Well, there was two reasons. One, you had to have a lot of money. And we were poor. We did not have a lot of money. So we couldn't get a phone. Well, eventually we did. All right? And not only that, there weren't that many frequencies. You see, a phone operates on a specific frequency. There's a specific number for this phone. And that dictates the frequency that it works on. Okay? Now, when you really understand that, you can change a lot of things in your life. There is an infinite number. We didn't always know that. We thought there was a limited number of frequencies, therefore you can't have more phones. Now we know there's an infinite number of frequencies and you can have all kinds of phones. And we do. Effectiveness, more productivity. Logic controls more than anything else. Logic stops everything we're going to do. It was illogical that we could fly in the air. Anything heavier than air is attracted towards the center of the world. You cannot fly. Two young bicycle mechanics in Dayton, Ohio, in 1903, I think it was, they knew they could get a plane in the air, and they eventually did. They were not aeronautical engineers. The American government had spent millions of dollars trying to get a plane in the air. Can't fly. Two young bicycle mechanics got us in the air. See, logic stops most people from doing most things. You'll hear people say, well, that is just illogical. That is totally ridiculous. Your goals should be ridiculous. Your goals should be illogical. Your goals should be right out there where you can go. Now listen, your paradigm controls your ability to earn money. It definitely controls your ability to earn money, so you pay close attention to your paradigm. Your paradigm controls your ability to earn money. Your paradigm controls you to a very large degree. Now look at all you're boxed in. Every time you go to change anything, you hit the wall. It seems like you're boxed in. Now, when you go to change your paradigm, those walls come down. when you make up your mind to change your paradigm, the walls come down. Now, when the walls come down, you don't hit the wall anymore when you go to change. The walls aren't there. They're not there. Now, get this. When you change the paradigm, I want you just to imagine the change that can take place in your life. There's an enormous change can take place in your life. That change will be huge, and that change will be permanent. This is a beautiful part of this. This is what we've got to understand. It's not only huge, it's permanent. Look at this for a moment. Let's suppose we just change the way we utilize our time. If you just worked 1 more hour a day, how would that affect your ability to earn money? Now think of that for a moment. If you study this for 1 hour a day, how would that attract your ability to earn money? You see, I started to study this, and my income started to change. I was earning $100,000, then $400,000, then $1 million. One day I realized there's literally no end to how much of this stuff you can earn. Then I started to find the more generous you are, the more money you're going to earn. Now that sounds really absurd. The more money you give away, the more comes back to you. That is a law of our being. Now, some people don't want to part with it. They don't want to let it go. They have to work hard to get it. The more you let go, the more comes in. Now, look at this real carefully. You just work or change something for 1 hour a day. It makes an enormous difference in your ability to earn money. This idea of paradigm, it's huge. You've got one. Now, I want you to stop and think of who formed the paradigm. Your parents, my grandmother, my aunts and uncles, my neighbors, the teachers. None of these people really knew how to earn money. I'm not saying they're bad people. They're not bad people. They're very good people. But they didn't know this. They didn't know this, so they couldn't do anything. You see, we don't even know how to change it. Now let's take a look here. Let's take a look at organized education, and let's take a look at the Proctor Gallagher Institute. I want you to really pay attention here. You can really learn something this week, but you've got to give us your undivided attention. This is not a game. There's you. Those little things that come up on you, that's your senses. You can hear, see, smell, taste, touch. Your conscious, your subconscious, and your body. You go to school. You go to school and you listen. You hear the teacher. We hear with our ears. And because we hear, we gather information. Gathering information and learning are two totally different things. Gathering information are stacking the books up there in the conscious mind. Then periodically, as you go through the year, they come up and they give you a test. They want to find out how much you know. And they give you a test. They ask you questions. If you answer the questions right, you pass. You win. You get an education. And they call that it is not an education. It's gathering information. We treat education as if it's something you can fill up and put a cap on. You can't do that. That is not knowing. It's not knowing. Now let's take a look at what learning is. You don't learn by just hearing it. You've got to really listen, and you listen with your emotional mind. When you listen, that's when you learn. See, learning is when we consciously entertain an idea. That's what you're doing right now. Then get emotionally involved with these ideas. When you get consciously and emotionally involved, you're going to act on the idea. And when you act on the idea, you're doing it, so you change the result. It's because of what you do, and the results change. When the result changes, that's feedback to your consciousness. You learned. You learned if you think about this, get emotionally involved and do it, you'll change the result. Pretty interesting, isn't it? Pretty interesting. Well, I'm going to tell you something. It's only through repetition that this happens. When repetition, why repetition is necessary when you're changing paradigms. Now I want you to really think, really listen, and really give me your attention. The white line here represents the sound of a recording playing, or that would be me talking. The red line will represent you listening to the recording, okay? I would listen to the same recording over and over and over. There's the sound of the recording playing. This is the sound of me listening to the recording. So I'm listening to the recording, and bang, an idea hits, and off I go on a thought trip. Now, I'm not listening to the recording. I'm thinking about what I'm listening to, the idea. So as I'm up there playing with this idea, the sound still plays. Do you notice the white line still going underneath? And then I quit thinking about that idea, and I come down and I start listening again. Then I go along and bang, another idea hits, and off I go on another thought trip. So do you see, I could listen to the same recording every day for a month, not listen to the same idea, not think about the same idea over and over and over again. Well, you've got to keep entertaining that idea over and over and over. That's how paradigms are formed, and that's how they can be changed. You see, the second time you put it on, you don't listen to the same thing. How was your paradigm formed? It was in your little life. That was when the ideas was dumped into your subconscious mind. That's how the paradigm was formed. And that's what you've got to do here. Now look at, if you listen to the same recording again, you don't come down on the same spot. You know, you say, if this would happen, then you'd listen to it just a few times and you got it. But that's not what happens. It's next time you listen, you stop at a different point. The point is, you could listen to the same recording 50 times and still hear something. I never heard that before. Well, you did hear it before, but you weren't listening when it was played. This is so important. And this is how we change the paradigm. Now look here for a moment. There's the mind, okay? And there's the body, okay? The conscious mind, the subconscious. You see, hear, smell, taste, touch. Those are senses that are hooked up to the conscious mind, okay? That's how most people live. They just live by the outside world, by what they hear, see, smell, taste, touch. They never understand that their conscious mind is also their intellectual mind, and they have these higher faculties. Let me tell you something. You are different than all the other form of animal life on the planet. All the other little creatures running around the planet are completely at home in their environment because they blend in. You and I are totally disoriented in our environment. We don't blend in. We're totally disoriented. Little animals are completely at home in their environment because they do blend in. They operate by instinct, which is perfect. We had instinct removed and higher faculties put into place. We have these higher faculties. We can create our own environment. Now look here for a moment. You have perception, the will, imagination, memory, intuition, reason. Okay? These are enormous, powerful parts of our personality. We were taught nothing about these. You got nothing about these in school. And you know something? They're all sitting right here in our conscious mind, waiting to be utilized. Now, if you really want to earn a lot of money, you're going to have to start using those faculties. Now, all week we're going to be teaching you more about the mind, and the objective is to teach you how to earn this stuff. Everybody that's on this teaching you knows how to earn that stuff. They're all doing very well. Okay? I'm going to look forward to being back here at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. I want you to remember every bit of this. Remember what we said? Dad's money pump. Get all those words down because it's very important.